Okay, so I'll just wait until it goes to like 12 o'clock.
Okay.
So, all right, perfect. So it's 12 o'clock. All right. So, welcome to episode 29 of the Qierre Show. Today, live, we are actually coming from location. We are actually coming from Cornerstone Chiropractic, located at 2211 East Lincoln Avenue in the highly desirable city of Anaheim. Today, I have a very special guest. He is a fellow Anaheim Chamber member. He is a business owner, all-around great guy, Dr. Ryan Blackman of Cornerstone Chiropractic. How are you doing today, Ryan? Dr.
Hey,
Ryan?
How's it going?
It's going well.
Hey, everyone.
So, if you guys saw the title of my show, the title is Everyone Needs a Chiropractor. Now, Dr. Ryan, before you answer that question, because there wouldn't be the point of watching this whole video,
Sure.
Let's start from the beginning. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the business.
Yeah, so basically, chiropractic is really what some folks might call an encore career for me, right? It's really a second career or more of a calling. So I'm originally trained as an engineer. Did that for a number of years, and then things kind of changed up, and chiropractic was having a big impact on my life, just health-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I had been seeing a chiropractor. I saw some phenomenal changes. Quite honestly, I didn't even really understand what chiropractic can really be about. That it can be more just about than just pain, or just relief of pain. Me and my wife were at a decision point, and we decided to go ahead and take the jump. Went back to school, got my doctorate for chiropractic. And then I've been practicing ever since.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, for people that may not know what a chiropractor is, what does a chiropractor do?
Yeah, so primarily what we do in terms of a chiropractor is we look for subluxations of the spine. And so subluxations of the spine, or vertebral subluxations as we call them, is where the particular bones of the spine kind of get stuck, mm-hmm. right? And they move together, and then they start putting tension or pressure on that nerve. And those nerves that are coming out the spine are controlling, everything along the spine, your nervous central system, right? Mm-hmm. So every organ, tissue, and gland, it's all coordinating that. The brain's coordinating that through the spine. So when there's tension or compression on that nerve, that signal that's going from the brain to the body and the body back up to the brain, mm-hmm. can get distorted. So the body doesn't necessarily function at its best.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we look to correct that, take that tension off the nerve, and then allow the body to function as it's meant to do and to heal better.
I see. Now, when I've heard of chiropractors, normally I just think of a doctor that works on your back. But do you work on other limbs too, or it's just the back?
So primarily, yes, I focus on the spine. That's primary, right? Because as you know, or as I just stated, I'm really most interested in taking tension off the nervous system. That's mm-hmm. really what I'm about. Now, that being said, I also look at ankles and knees and wrists and elbows and those sorts of things. More so ankles and knees and hips, just because those will have a big impact on how the spine is positioning and adapting as well, right? So if you're compensating because you have an ankle problem, mm-hmm. Then that might throw something off in the spine, right? So
right.
We kind of look at your body as a whole.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. So, like you said, so you look at your body as a whole. So, as a chiropractor, so what are the normal people that you usually see come to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see people for a wide range of stuff. Mm-hmm. Most of the stuff that people will come into, obviously, is, especially if they've never been to a chiropractor, it's usually pain driven, right?
Okay.
That seems to be the motivating factor for most people, just because it's oh, I can't go to work, or I've been dealing with this for so long, and there's got to be something better, or they're faced with taking medications every day, and they don't want to do that because they understand the toxic load that puts on the body. Mm. So then they start seeking out more alternative care. But for the most part, I'll see people with migraines. For women's a big one.
Okay.
I see a lot of kids in terms of maybe infants that are having difficulty breastfeeding.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you really think about it, that a lot of times that can turn out to be just a neck issue. right?
For the baby?
Right, for the baby.
Wow.
Just maybe difficulty during birth, those sorts of things, So if they're having difficulty breastfeeding, sometimes it can just be the fact that it's uncomfortable to get into a certain position.
Wow, I did not. I mean, I would never imagine that because I would imagine just a baby just
right.
there. But wow, okay,
yeah. So that, or maybe chronic ear infections. The chiropractic actually helps a lot with that because it helps with drainage of the ears.
Now, okay, chronic ear infections. Well, that's huge, especially with kids. I know kids that have that often done. So, as a chiropractor, I mean, you don't do surgery, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
So basically, what happens is when the very top of the spine, which is your C1, C2, or Atlas, when it tends to get out of alignment, right, it can put stress and strain on some of the other musculature up here, and then also basically your eustachian tubes, which go from your ear and actually drain kind of down here in your neck, right? So there's that drainage point. Well, that vertebrae being out of alignment, it puts a distortion on the nervous system. We talked about that, right? Puts a distortion on the nervous system, but also slows that drainage. So then it starts getting backed up, and then over time, the body, basically as it's getting backed up, the body can no longer adapt and compensate, and then it essentially will get overrun with bacteria, waste products, those sorts of things. Right?
Oh wow!
So will lead to kind of chronic ear infections. Right?
Oh, geez.
So a lot of times, especially if folks are pressed with, this idea that they need to get, tubes in their kids' ears, I definitely say, before you even come close to considering that, or there's some invasive surgery like that, is, go see a chiropractor and get that, make sure you get the top of that neck looked at.
That's good. I mean, I like that you said that because I do have situations where I do hear, like family members or friends have kids, and the first thing they do is maybe they need to get their hearing checked, maybe they need to get the tubes in their ears. But like you said, before you do that, is to see a chiropractor first to see if there's something that you can do. Because I mean, I guess obviously sometimes when a kid can have ear infections, that can also affect their ability to listen, right? Like, I mean, if you're telling them to stop or whatever, they may not be hearing it because of their ear infection. Not necessarily that they just don't listen to you. It's more of
blockage in the ear,
Okay.
distortion. Yeah, I mean, and then there's also that neurological component that we talked about as well, right? That can be distorting, from what their brain, what their ears hear and their brain perceives.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you mentioned before that you also help women with migraines. Yeah, so how does that usually go? Like, where do you usually notice what causes that?
So it's interesting. So a lot of, I'll have a lot of women that come in and I'll talk to them, and moms, they carry a lot, or just women in general, right? They carry a lot. And so sometimes they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I have this back pain, right? And then I'll get to checking out their neck, and I'm like, do you have headaches? And they're like, yeah, I get migraines. And I'm like, well, they never mentioned that they get migraines. I'm like, well, how often do you get migraines? And they're like, every day.
Wow.
And I'm like, geez. Whoa, and you're only in here for back pain.
All right.
And so anyways, we're talking more about it, and so back to that very top bone that we talked about, C1, when that gets out of alignment, or basically that C1 nerve comes back up over the head. So when it starts irritating that nerve, you'll start developing you can start developing migraine type symptoms.
Oh wow. Jeez. And that's interesting how you said it, when you said that, oh, how often you migraines? Oh, every day.
Right.
I can imagine how many, women out there or men out there are just having a daily migraine that just kind of contribute that to, like you said, like their lower back, or, I don't know, just something I'm just dealing with. It's just a consequence of stress, of just dealing with life. Right. Not necessarily something that could actually be, healed or taken care of.
Or one of my, not really my favorites, but one of the ones that make me step back and kind of think, is they're like, oh, I just get them the normal amount.
Seriously, right? But migraines not normal, right?
Headaches in general aren't normal.
Hear that, guys? Headaches and migraines are not normal.
Right.
Okay, if you have headaches and migraines, Go to Ryan, Dr. Ryan. Okay.
Right. I mean, there's not normal, but you're used to it because it happens
Right.
and it kind of becomes your normal life.
Mm-hmm.
That was, it was a similar experience for me that I kind of had a normal thing that I would just always thought that, oh, that's just going to be the rest of my life. And then
Right.
when I went and first saw my chiropractor, he, and he started working on me. Next thing you know, I realized that life could be different, and I was not normal, or I wasn't living normal, right? And so now I have a new normal, which is a much better normal, an optimal health.
Yeah, definitely. Now, can a chiropractor prescribe medication?
No, so that falls really in the realm of medical doctors, DOs, those sorts of things, right?
Yeah.
For chiropractors, we tend to look more holistically. Medications really, at least from, which I really think should be kind of everyone's perspective, right? But medications really are kind of forcing your body to do something that it can't really do at this point in time, right?
Right.
So it's just kind of manipulating the physics, right? Of it all, of how the body functions for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So it really tends to fall in more of emergency type care, right? As a chiropractor, what I really want to focus on is getting you in before you're having to make those decisions,
right?
Those healthcare decisions in an emergency situation, right?
Right, definitely.
Before you're saying, oh, just give me the surgery, I just got to have this done.
Right.
Right, because it can have big impacts, after the surgery, after whatever it is that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can catch you, before then,
mm-hmm.
and get you on a good health plan, then quite honestly, you'll respond much better. So what we tend to do is, we look at more supplementation in terms of whole food supplementation rather than medication.
Right, definitely. And I would imagine, I'm sure a lot of people are out there, probably people that are going to watch this video, a lot of people probably do experience pain, migraines, headaches, physical pains. And unfortunately, a lot of us are trained to, okay, let's go to the doctor and see what the doctor says. Or, hey, here's some ibuprofen, here's some Advil. Or, hey, just walk it off. It's not unbearable.
Right.
It's just a little pain.
Right.
I can still do my daily functions.
It's just the normal pain.
Right, the normal pain, exactly. We normalize these things.
Right.
And like I said, a lot of us are just pretty much pointing to the direction of, okay, go see a doctor. Or go to Target or go to CVS or go to Save House or go somewhere else, get some over-the-pain medication, and there you go. That's what you do. But like you said, these things are just blockers. They're not really helping you or helping you get better. They're just blockers for the pain.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you're still doing the same thing. You just don't feel the pain.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite quote is, it's like, well, they're like, I took some ibuprofen or I took, this or it's like, well, you weren't in pain. You were not in pain because you had an ibuprofen deficiency.
Right. Yeah. Your body wasn't missing that it was somehow supposed to be creating that.
Right.
And you're just supplementing it. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So it may have helped you through a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably still something there that needs to be corrected.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Definitely. And then you touched a little bit about fitness, health. So what would you say the percentage of people that you see it's usually due to their health or their weight that's really causing this pain? Is that
Well, quite honestly, subluxations of the spine can happen at really at any age, any health wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I find that most folks will tend to be, just because of the toxic load of the foods that we eat, right? They have an impact on the body, which can lead to subluxations. Repetitive motions every day lead to subluxations. But quite honestly, so my youngest patient is 4 days old.
Wow.
So and then the range all the way up,
uh-huh.
right? So there's not really a particular body type or necessarily incident that can say, hey, you've got an issue or you might need to go see this.
Mm-hmm.
Quite honestly, talking just the other day, we had, it's like high blood pressure, right?
Yes.
You can have high blood pressure and never really know it unless somebody checks your blood pressure, right?
Right, exactly, because you may not be getting any type of symptoms, or you can treat me as just a normal thing. Oh,
right.
dizzy spells? No, just a normal
Yeah,
thing.
just have the normal dizzy spells.
Right, yeah.
That doesn't mean that you don't have high blood pressure
Right.
and that it's in there probably causing some damage, right?
Right, exactly.
So same thing in terms of subluxation of the spine, right? People will tell me, it's like, oh, I don't have any back pain. I was like, well, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not subluxated of the spine.
Right.
And you just haven't experienced outward symptoms yet, right? And that's really the key, right? So I always recommend, quite honestly, everyone at least as a matter of build it into your routine just to get checked. And if there's something in there, then if there's a subluxation of the spine, have a qualified chiropractor take a look at it.
Yeah. So the question is that, like I said, so everyone needs a chiropractor, you would say, right?
Oh yeah, pretty good segue, right? Yeah, really, for the most part. I mean, certainly many people are going to think, so I need a sign or symptom. But remember, that's more of the emergency, the emergency care model, right? I'm having a symptom. I need to go and address that symptom.
Right.
We're really looking more from a healthy perspective. How do you maintain health rather than letting it degrade?
Absolutely.
Right. It's easier to maintain something than try to regain something that's lost.
Absolutely.
Right. So anyways, that's where we look for. So quite honestly, essentially, it sounds kind of cliche maybe, but if you have a spine, get checked.
I like that. So everyone out there, if you have a spine, get checked. And yes, I did see you, Scott. So you said migraines. Well, I have Dr. Ryan's information on the post there, so you can definitely give him a call. He can definitely check that out for you. But like you said, if you have a spine, you go get checked out. And like you said, this is
doesn't necessarily mean you always get adjusted. It just means that you need to get checked, because subluxations, they're really impacting the nervous system. So I mean, you can see a host of different conditions, digestive issues, let's say liver trouble, just all kinds of stuff. I mean, remember, your brain is communicating to every organ, tissue, and gland of your body through that spinal cord and through those spinal nerves.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So you can see those there are folks who are under regular care, right? They're not just in here for pain, but they're just in here getting checked, getting adjusted, and we see, quite honestly, things that you might never think would be related to chiropractic care unless you understood chiropractic care. That clear up.
Yeah, definitely.
That clear up.
Yeah,
and that's just the reality of things. Gallbladder issues, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Now, like, let's say if you don't really have any, like, you're not experiencing any pain or anything like that. How often would you say you should, see a chiropractor?
So that's when some of the other factors come in. I always recommend, quite honestly, anywhere from 2 to 4 times a month, really.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, at least twice a month for most people. And the reason why that really tends to be is just one, because you want to catch it on a, good, or you want to catch or really have a good health plan in place, right?
Okay.
But the reality is that a lot of folks, depending on the types of foods that we're eating, that they have a tendency to get subluxated. When our diets were much cleaner, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you most likely didn't need adjustments at that time, right?
Right.
Plus the environmental toxins that you might be experiencing, the emotional stress, all those things play a role in how the spine can get subluxated.
Well, I mean, that totally makes sense, because, I mean, you're dealing with that on a regular basis.
Right.
You're dealing with life on a regular basis.
Right. We don't take enough time to relax. We're just overtaxing our body. Especially with foods that we eat. Quite honestly, if I see folks that are they're really working towards cleaning up their diet and make some simple changes.
Okay.
Quite honestly, we see those people a lot less, really.
Right.
Or the need to see them a lot less, but they're generally more focused on their health, so they actually still come in.
Well, yeah, for sure, definitely. What I've noticed, most people that usually get, go to the dentist, go to the doctor, go to the chiropractor on a regular basis, typically they are healthier just because they're actively being evaluated.
Right.
So
they're
then
taking an active role in their health.
Absolutely. So then, then a specialist can actually get to the issue first before it gets worse, or they can just direct them on a path where they never have to experience anything. You know what I mean? Just going on doing your regular checks and inspections and so forth.
Right.
I think the problem is we always wait till something becomes unbearable and then we go check it out. Then by that time it's like, I can't do anything about this. When did you start experiencing this? Oh, it's been going on for about 2 years now. 2 years?
10
like,
years
come
ago.
on.
20 years ago.
Jeez.
So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And people ask me, it's like, well, why do I see kids? Why do I see, because I have a lot of folks, or I have some folks that will come into the office, and their spines are kind of arthritic, and they're in later stage of life, and they're having pains and trouble. It's like, and I will definitely be able to help you at least to a certain level, but you have to recognize that you've been progressing to this state your entire life, right?
Right.
Now, had I seen you at a younger age, right, you would, you most likely would not be in the same shape.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you can do anything, if you're coming in to see me and you're kind of in that state, we're just doing maintenance on you because there's only a certain level that we can get you to. Then quite honestly, if you can do anything, convince your kids or your grandkids to come in.
Yeah.
Let's start them early so they're not ending up like what's like in that current situation.
Well, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. Well, well, thank you for, taking the time to educate us today on the importance of having a chiropractor. And for all of you guys that are just checking in and may not know, the answer is yes. Everyone needs to have a chiropractor. Everyone needs to see a chiropractor. Now, Dr. Ryan, since I am here, can you check me out?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right.
So we went through and did an exam on you earlier.
Okay.
Right? So you have your glasses down. That's good.
Yes.
Let's have you lay face down.
Okay.
All right. So now probably the first thing people think is like, wait a minute, I'm nowhere near your spine. Right?
Right.
And that's because the body gives us clues and indications as far as what needs to, what's happening, what's going on. And I can take a look here, right? I can tell you your right leg is about an eighth to a quarter inch shorter than your left.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And generally, that's because there's usually like a twist here in the low back, or the hips will be out. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of blocking here, but yeah. So on you, I can tell you, your hip right here is rotated back a little bit, which draws this leg up.
Wow.
Right. So before we're done, that leg's going to be even.
So I won't walk with a limp anymore, huh?
That's right. That's right. You're going to be walking out of here straight, maybe a little taller.
Well, hey, I always want to be taller, right?
Right? Yeah. And then normal, for quite honestly, for most folks is just, we get a little bit of kind of a protrusion out here in the back, in the mid-back somewhere, just because, we start slouching, sitting at work, what have you,
Oh, absolutely.
So I always like to check through here. Then the upper neck. Yeah, right there. All right, so let's go ahead and get you adjusted.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to start right here in the mid-back. All right. So I want you to just take a breath for me. Let it out. Good, good. A little push here.
Oh,
good.
Yeah.
Good.
I felt that one, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't much pressure.
No, not at all.
Much, I mean, if I can adjust a 4-day-old baby,
Yeah.
obviously their adjustments look a lot different. I'm not laying them face down and
Right.
and doing all this, but certainly, there we go. One more, right here. Good, good, good. Okay. All right. Let's have you. I want you to lay on your right side for me.
Okay.
Or excuse me, left side. Face me this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we're just like that. Bend this top leg. Yeah. Let me see this way. This
Okay.
side right here. Good. Let me see this side.
Yeah.
Awesome. Relax it.
Okay.
Good. Perfect.
Do you breathe or anything?
No,
Or?
you just relax.
Okay.
Relax.
Okay.
I'm gonna roll you. I'm gonna roll you to right there. A little push.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got that one, Dr. Ryan.
Good. Let's have you lay on your back.
Okay.
And it would look fairly similar from person to person.
Yeah.
The only real difference is no, you can just relax.
Oh, okay.
The real difference, quite honestly, is going to be at the levels and maybe slight changes in the way I adjust it. But unless you're a chiropractor, quite honestly, it starts to look all the same. Like
Right.
I might treat everyone the same, and that's just not really the case. See, I mean, the difference is that on you it might be right here, the very top of your neck.
Right.
For someone else, it could be an inch or two lower.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. And you just relax.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect. Right here. Relax your head. Just let it fall.
Whoa!
Okay, good.
All right.
Good. Good. One more. On the other side. A little bit lower.
Okay.
There you go. Perfect. Right there.
Oh, no, I see.
Yeah, you
Okay.
just let it fall.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Good. See? Not much pressure. Comfortable?
Yeah.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Let's have you lay face down. Let's just check those legs.
Okay.
Yep. Perfect. Legs are lined back up.
Perfect.
Yeah. You're good to go. Come on up. Yeah.
Well,
How do you feel?
yeah,
Right?
good. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
How's that low back and that hip feeling?
It feels like looser.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure. You get those joints freed up. Takes
Yeah.
tension off the nerves.
Yeah.
Those nerves begin to heal. And now the best thing, quite
Mhm.
honestly, you're going to notice your immediate effects, because you're going to have more range of motion. And that's all good. But the best thing that's going on right now is that signal going from your brain to the rest of the body, the body
Yeah.
back up to the brain. Now it has no interference.
Oh, perfect.
Right? So it's functioning better at a higher level.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ryan.
You're welcome. I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
And thank you guys for tuning in. And if you guys didn't get to watch, I'm going to save this video so you guys can watch it and replay it. And if you have any questions for Dr. Ryan, his contact information will be here. Or if you want to ask me, I can definitely relay it back to Dr. Ryan. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Like, share, comment, and have a great weekend. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Dr. Ryan. His contact information is here. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I feel great. I feel loose. Woo! Oh, look at that. Just touched my toes.
All right.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right.